You are now listening to the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Welcome to the Sleepover Retro Countdown Show, where nostalgia competes for the top spot. Brought to you by Sleepover Trading Company. Be kind, rewind your childhood, and proudly coming to you as part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Woo! So each episode, your host, Rob, that is me, and Guido, that is that person, each bring 5 picks from deep in the Analyve archive. So we're talking movies, comics, toys, songs, commercials, whatever. And they're going to battle it out to build the ultimate top 10.
So grab your toy collector's chest carrying case, you know, those things that they used to sell.
Course.
And join us for another round of the Sleepover Retro Countdown Show.
So on this episode, we're discussing the top 10 movie tie-in toys.
Oh, yes.
So let's talk a bit about the rules, because
we did have to set clear rules here.
Yes,
this one could have gone in a lot of different directions. So rule number 1, these are action figures, not licensed products, not tie-in merchandise, specifically action figures. So we'll describe these as smaller toys meant to be played with, sold often on a card with a plastic bubble.
Is that what an action figure is? Okay.
I don't know how else to describe it, because they don't all technically do action, which is, of course, part of the name.
Karate.
Yeah, they don't all have, like, or the uppercut punch,
Yes,
you know, when Lex is punching himself.
the Lex Luthor punching himself in the head.
Yeah, exactly. So these are action figures that we are focused on today.
And no, so 2, these have to come from movies and can be directly tied into that movie. So these are not related lines, but specifically figures related to those movies. And we were going to do TV shows too, but like that opens up a whole nother can, because that is like makes it even bigger. So these are directly movies.
And to narrow it a little further, rule number 3, these are from the 1980s and the 1990s, released during that time. These are not modern re-releases. These are not retro releases. So even though they didn't always come out contemporary to the movie, some came out a few years later, they have to have come out between 1980 and 1999.
Basically the time we would have been buying them.
I'm still buying them, so that never stops.
That's true. Well, buying them for a lot cheaper on card than you would be today. That's for sure.
All right. So who is starting? Because I noticed that we have the same line in our top spot, in our bottom spot, whatever, in our first spot. So why don't you kick us off, competing for our numbers 9 and 10. Bring us your 5th choice.
Okay, so it's my 5th choice, but he's my number 1 guy.
Okay.
And so this is a toy that I never had, Guido. I don't know why I never had this, but I do want it. I want it on card now. I don't think it's probably too expensive, because they made 1 million
he was always the one in the KB bin at the register for very cheap. Yeah.
So this is from the Batman line, Batman 89 line. And this is Bob the Goon, released from Toy Biz in 1989.
Yeah. Why did you want him?
Okay, well, I didn't want him then, really. I mean, I thought he was, like, interesting and weird. I want him now because I think it's so crazy that character actor Tracy Walter, who's known for a lot of weird things. He was in Nash Bridges, which we've already talked about on the podcast, and he's in a very weird horror movie called Out in the Dark with a killer clown. But he was one of Jack Nicholson's best friends, so Jack insisted that he play this part of Bob the Goon. And I just love that this kind of obscure, weird character actor from like Rob Zombie movies also happens to have an action figure released in this giant movie in 1989.
I used to love that before Funko Pop. And if you ignore Funko Pops, you could still do it. But before Funko Pops, I remember when I would dig around in antique store action figure bins, I loved getting random ones where you're like, this actor probably doesn't even know that an action figure exists of them. You know, like, or we have the Jonathan Brandis Sequest DSV figure. Like, there are so many weird figures of actors who you would not think have action figures, and Bob the Goon is a good choice for it.
You don't also see too many just like bald middle-aged men that are also like an action figure
who doesn't have a whole lot of action either. Like,
no,
I see his action is a power kick. I don't know what that even has to do with anything, but his action was the button activated power kick. So
Bob Gunn.
All right. Well, competing for this spot, I'm bringing my number 5 choice from the same line from the 1989 Toy Biz Batman series, but I am just bringing you regular old Batman. But the important thing is Keaton-faced Batman, because there are multiple Batmen. And not all of them were meant to look like Michael Keaton. But this is the one, actually, it might not even be the basic one, because it's the one I'm thinking of is the one where he has the black turtleneck on. You can take off his armor.
Oh, okay.
So it's the Bruce Wayne Batman toy.
I never had this one because, well, one, I was a little later, like this movie had already come out and I didn't see it. So I don't remember this one, but I remember some of the later Batmans where I don't think you saw his face then. So he was like not necessarily Keaton Batman, but as part of the 89 Keaton line.
Yes. Well, they did, and this is where it gets so complicated because they did do like multiple versions and tie-ins. This is actually in like the second wave, so it was called the Dark Knight Collection, but it was still the movie ones and still the first movie. So it's Bruce Wayne Batman. And what's so cool is that again, it's him in a black turtleneck, and then he happened to have the costume. So almost similar to your Bob the Goon. It's like, if you just want a Michael Keaton action figure, you can get a Michael Keaton action figure. It's not even a Batman action figure if you leave the costume off of him. And I used to obviously love anything that was like dress up, and this would be like dress up. Like you can put his outfit on or not put his outfit on.
And also if you wanted maybe later to do like Steve Jobs action figure, like he would be that.
This would help you create the custom
I'm creating
for that.
Apple.
Yes, exactly. Exactly right. So
not too many turtlenecks in action figures. So,
they're both great picks, but Michael Keaton's gotta come first. So Michael Keaton's gonna be our number 9 and Bob the Goon number 10.
This podcast needs an enema.
So, all right. I am going to present my number 4 pick, competing for our number 7 and number 8 spots. I am bringing a weird one that I would not have remembered other than we did a deep dive into every licensed action figure we could. And as soon as this line came into my mind, I remember loving and cherishing my 1988 Police Academy action figure of Zed. And Zed is, of course, Bobcat Goldthwait. So,
okay, I didn't know, because I watched these movies growing up, but I wasn't like a Police Academy huge aficionado, so I wasn't sure.
So this is Bobcat Goldthwait, and he came with a skateboard that he could ride on. But what's most importantly is that with his action, so far we're in all action figures, his action is with bobbing head and dropping pants. So he would actually, his pants would fall down, and he had on, I remember them so distinctly, white boxer shorts with hearts all over them.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was what everyone whose pants fell down ever was wearing. I was in a play in elementary school, and for some reason my pants fell down. I don't know why. And of course, I had boxer shorts on with hearts on. So
yeah, so this was just so fun to me. It was because it's such a weird action. Such a weird figure. I was a Police Academy fan, but I wouldn't call myself like a mega fan or anything. But I just remember really loving this figure and loving
And does
having
that
this
happen
figure.
to him in the movies? Is it my pants fell down?
I can't even remember. I can't even remember if his pants fall down in the movies. My guess is yes. Maybe it's even a recurring joke, but honestly, I don't know. The fun is just having an action figure whose action is his pants fall down and his head bobbles around because he's a little bit kooky.
Yeah, this is the only one I had to definitely look up of yours because I was not familiar with this. Oh, I had the guy, and I think he's the villain where he has a tie and there's like a gun hidden in his tie. And this was one of those ones where I must have been given it because I don't have the card, and for a long time,
Mr. Sleaze.
Okay. Before the
You had
internet,
Mr.
I was
Sleaze.
like, I had no idea what line this came from. And it was only a few years ago where I was like, oh, Police Academy.
Well, Mr. Sleaze came with Foo Dog. You lost Foo Dog, apparently, because that was his little companion character. And his action is hands go up, tie flips to gas or gun.
But like the Lex Luthor that we just mentioned, his tie could never stay down. So his tie was basically always up.
So that is my pick for the 7 and 8 spot. What are you bringing to compete with it?
Well, in a completely different direction. This is from the Aliens toy line, and it is the Alien Queen Deluxe Xenomorph from Kenner in 1992, and this bad girl is a whopping 6 inches tall, so she is a big lady.
Yeah. I never had any of these. Did you have this in 1992, do you think?
Oh, yes, I think I still have it upstairs.
I knew we had it, but I didn't know if it was an original acquisition here.
Had this in 1992. This is one of those weird ones, and I think it's the only real example on our lists here where you had a toy for a rated R movie that chances are
there are a lot of them.
There are a lot of them in general, but chances are the child buying that toy never actually saw the movie. And of course, this is so common now because so many rated R, Terrifier, or whatever, like have toys. And it was common then too, but like now adults are buying them, and this was clearly geared at children.
And her action is attacking double jaws, whipping spiked tail.
Yeah, so she had a giant tail that she could move, and you could move her at the waist, and then so she was hard plastic, but she had like a very kind of creepy, squishy little thing in her head, and then she could spit out her tongue as well. But one thing that made her super creepy is like she had multiple sets of arms. Like she had her big arms, and then I think she had another little arms. And then the creepiest of all, she had just like little hands coming out of her chest like this, like just here. Like it's very creepy, and like it's all from I don't even know how well you can see that in the actual movie, but it's very articulated and weird that this
she
is
a cool sculpt, especially
Yeah.
at a time when they like to repurpose sculpts as often as they could, which is why you have a million variations of a Bruce Wayne, or you have a million figures that look like He-Man in the He-Man line. So it's so cool that they gave such an articulated version of the Xenomorph and such a unique looking figure in this line. So
yeah, and they
really
did a lot. Also, I think it was actually the Alien 3 line, or maybe it was a continuation of Aliens, where they made like a bull alien. They did a lot, and they're all pretty unique sculpts, and a lot of them aren't in the movies. This one is in the movie, but yeah, I do love when people just take the time to make something totally unique, which is basically the exact opposite of the Batman line that we just discussed.
Yes. Well, while these are both Kenner, and I love my Zed, Alien Queen has to win here.
Yeah, because she would have also eaten. I got some acid in my face.
The crossover we never knew we needed. All right. So competing for 5 and 6, what are you bringing?
Okay. Well, guess who's back on the list? It's Michael Keaton. He's back, but a different character. This is from the Beetlejuice line, and this is Spinhead Beetlejuice with Creepy Cockroach, also from Kenner.
That.
This is 1989. So for folks who don't know, he's Beetlejuice in like the purple suit that he gets married in at the end of the original film. And what was cool here was like he's got his regular Beetlejuice head, but if you took his head off, he's got the tiny head, which
and
of course
it's on the box, spin head and remove to reveal mini head.
Yes. So yeah, like that iconic little head that he ends this movie with, and then that could kind of spin around as well. There was a lot of variations on Beetlejuice that they did, and I had a couple of them, but this one just stood out in my mind.
Yeah, it's a fun one. I also had this toy, definitely, and it is fun and silly. If memory serves, I lost the big head, which was often the case.
Yes,
with a lot
you were
of these
always
things.
losing. The other one that I had from this line was when his body blew apart, and he was the Beetlejuice head on a little bug. But the problem was like you were always then missing a part of his body. Like you were always like one arm short of like putting him all back together again.
Yeah.
And I'll say too, like when we were researching this, Guido, I'll call you out. You thought these were for the animated cartoon.
Yeah, and here's why, because I remembered the grave, and the grave is actually part of the movie line. I was really surprised, but I had the grave, which I thought was one of the coolest things, but it also doesn't make a whole lot of sense for the movie. I mean, they also have this hunter guy in the line. I don't really remember him in the movie very much. So they did some weird things, but the vanishing vault, the grave, you bury him and he disappears from it, which is what's so cool. So I used to love that, but it doesn't come from the movie. It's clearly a toy they possibly repurposed or invented for this. And so that's why I was not convinced this was a movie line, but it is.
Yeah. And it does look actually a lot like the Michael Keaton sculpt, like his face as well, which is really cool about it. And now I want to go back and get some other one of these because they had, and he's one of my all-time favorite like cinematic characters. They had an ortho. I never had an ortho as well. I love that they also, so much of toys from this era. They had an Alec Baldwin. They had an ortho, but they didn't have a Gina Davis. There's no Gina Davis. There's no Winona Ryder. Like two characters that are pretty iconic, but they did not have them. And then they had this weird kid. I think it's in the second line where he gets turned into a pig and he's very creepy. He's like very like full moon like esque. He's like very, again, not in the movie whatsoever. They
released these neighborhood nasties, and that was the line that was like a spin-off. So yeah, really interesting merchandising that they did, but this is a fun pick.
So what are you countering this?
However, I'm going to bring one of your all-time favorites as my third pick, and that is the only one I have sitting next to me, even though actually we have every single one of these toys upstairs in our attic. But sitting next to me, I have Lips Manlis. And this is from Dick Tracy, the Playmates line from 1990, a huge line that you and I collect now on card because, of course, we had them from being kids and loved the line. This line will show up again in our conversation today. But why I chose Lips Manlis is because I remember being very disappointed that these figures generally did not have a lot of action. They were not particularly interesting figures. They had a gun holster. They had this, it wasn't very fun. However, he came with concrete blocks that you'd put on his feet. And I thought that was just the coolest thing because, of course, Lips Manlis is killed by Big Boy in the movie Dick Tracy by getting a concrete bath and being dropped into the ocean in concrete.
And what little kid doesn't love a toy with concrete shoes to drown
for the gangster crime and that we all love to learn about? Yes. Yeah. So I also love the facial design of Lips Manlis. They do such a good job of making him look really creepy. And, Prune Face looks creepy and Flat Top. And, they shape all their heads well for this line. But his is just so weird that it's irresistible. And plus it's Paul Sorvino. And plus he's, connected to Breathless, my main favorite character. So this is a high choice for me in the Dick Tracy.
Oh, Big Boy, not the bath! Big Boy, not the bath! Yeah, I mean, obviously, we collect this line now. I'm obsessed with Dick Tracy. I did not put any of these on my list. I love these toys on a nostalgic era. I do agree with you. Like, they're not the best actual action figures. The Rodent was probably my favorite because I loved like his purple suit. I also had Beetlejuice in a purple suit, so maybe that's the thing. Then yeah, I think the Lips I would have maybe was the only one I would have considered putting on my list because those concrete shoes are such a weird accessory, especially for a children's toy.
It is. It is. All right. So,
Well,
I don't know.
being that I don't have Dick Tracy on my own list, but have such a soft spot for it in my heart, I think Dick Tracy Lips Manlis has to win the day.
All right. So our number 6 is
And also, Michael
Spinhead.
Keaton's already won one of these brackets,
Yes.
so, you know.
Number 6, Spinhead Beetlejuice. Number 5, Lips Manlis from Dick Tracy. All right, competing for number 3 and number 4. My second choice is actually a terrible toy, but one that felt
It does look like that, yeah.
really, really special to me. So this is the Willow line from Tonka from 1988. And this is Queen Bavmorda, played by
Yes.
Jean Marsh. And I loved Willow as a kid. Loved it. I had the Willow board game and used to play it with my mother all the time because I think my mother liked Willow or indulged me a little bit more when it came to Willow than she did other things. And I had the Willow toys. They were terrible. They were just these little PVC figures essentially on, like, even the actual figures. Bavmorda doesn't need this because her legs are not split. She's in a cloak. But the figures with split legs, they're on a little platform. They're almost like miniatures that you'd play in like War of the Realms, whatever that game is that
Warcraft,
people play on tables. They're almost like those. And maybe they were meant to be miniatures like that so that they'd fit in with that fantasy realm of people who like to collect things. Didn't make for a good toy, but I loved this. I loved Bavmorda. I think Jean Marsh is so scary in this movie as Bavmorda. She's so creepy and evil and horrible. And I just liked this toy. And of course, she was harder to find. I remember I had most of the other figures for a long time. I think I even had like multiples of them. But the Bavmorda, I remember being hard to find. And I want to say I even like lost it at some point and then no longer had Bavmorda. But
Do you have a Bavmorda now?
no, I think we only have a Willow loose.
We have a
don't have them
Willow.
carded.
Yeah. And these are so weird because I watched Willow, but like on WPIX after the fact it had come out. So these toys were definitely before my time, but it's such an odd choice. I think you're right that they maybe fit in with those kind of model making toys, and
I think it had to have
things.
been that.
They're so
had
weird
to have
because
been the goal.
yeah, you can't play with these and mix and match them with any of your other action figures at all.
No. And they're barely action figures. I'm sort of I'm sort of breaking the rule here. And Tonka didn't really make action figures that much. I think their only line is actually one of my other favorite Supernaturals, but otherwise, of course, they're known for like the Tonka truck. So, and then they had, I think they actually had the Wrestling Buddies license. So they released the Wrestling Buddies. So they're not known for action figures and they didn't do well with Willow, but I love this Bavmorda and this line. There was also the dog and I really enjoyed having the dog. There was, of course, the evil guy with the skull on his face, which was also scary. So I think because this movie just scared me a lot and I liked it, it was fun to collect. But what are you bringing to go up against Bavmorda, another villain?
Another villain and another equally weird toy, I'd say. So this is from the Hook line, and it is Tall Terror Captain Hook from Mattel in 1991.
So why is he a tall terror?
Well, I'll tell you why. This is the weird part of the toy. So he's he's the super classic Captain Hook from this movie look and kind of the red and gold outfit that he has. But what you could do is like you could raise his legs up. Literally, I'm talking centimeters. So like his legs,
Centimeters, probably millimeters.
millimeters. Yes. So his legs are in like these black stockings, and he's like normal action figure size. And then like you could pull out his legs, and he goes up like ever so slightly taller. What's also weird is
grows taller for battle. That's his action
goes
on the
tall for
card.
battle. Yes, which is also weird because this has nothing to do with the movie. There was another.
That's what I was wondering. Like,
No,
did
no.
he? Why is this the action?
The only thing is I can think is like Dustin Hoffman's a famously short actor, but like this is not ever played up in the movie really. And there's another Captain Hook that I had where he had like a hidden sword can come up over his hook, but that's like something that actually like happens in the movie where like he's got like a hidden weapon and you could attach something else to the hook. That makes kind of sense. This one is just so weird. Why did they need, maybe they just felt they just couldn't have him just be Hook. They needed to give him something, and this was the easiest, cheapest thing they could add on.
I wonder too if it had something to do with looking at the line. It's all like Peter Pan and the Lost Boys. So in theory, they should all be shorter than Captain Hook, but they also clearly are using like the same or similar molds.
Well,
so
Peter
maybe
Pan
that's
should be the
part
same
of
height
it
because he is an adult man. This is not a little child Peter Pan.
he seems elfin to me, fairy like. So
No.
I don't know if that's part of it. Although actually Rufio is a smaller figure, so even though the other ones look like they're the same size,
I
as
had
Hook,
some of the Lost
Rufio
Boys. I had the
looks
guy.
smaller.
Yeah, I don't know if they were though, because I had a bunch of them, and I don't think they were. If they were, they were
Thud
just-
Butt. Who was Thud?
I didn't
Butt?
have Thud Butt.
Remember?
Yeah, he becomes the leader of the Lost Boys in the end of the movie.
Wow. All right.
You need to watch Hook again. They also did like, because again they couldn't have this mix and match. They had a separate Tinkerbell, but she's like a doll.
Right. Of
No,
course. 'Cause no one
she
would wanna
couldn't
play
be
with
an
her.
action figure with.
Well, her
with,
sizing would be a little.
her
difficult
sizing
to
would
deal
be
with.
a little. Yes.
All right. So while I hate these are both pretty terrible action
Yes,
figures,
they
yours
are.
at least has action. So
That's
Captain
true.
Hook, Tall Terror is
Mine
our
at least
number
is an
3.
action figure. I guess that's also.
And Bavmorda, fixed in place PVC figure is number 4. And we are down to our top spot. What are you bringing for this?
Okay. Well, is this a cheat on multiple levels? I don't know. We'll let the audience decide.
Yes is the answer to that.
So
it doesn't, I guess, technically break our rules, but yeah.
yeah, so this is from G.I. Joe the movie.
Oh, look at that.
Not G.I. Joe necessarily the action, and because these were released with the film.
Uh-huh.
So this is the Cobra La 3-pack. If I had to choose a specific character, it would of course be the villainous Globulus. And this is from Mattel in 1987.
And you did not have this, right?
I did have this.
Oh, you
I
did? Okay.
still do have this upstairs in our attic. I would love to get this carded. Obviously, it goes for quite a pretty penny these days, carded on there, or even loose, I think, as well, because these were just with the movie. And that's why I think it doesn't break the rules in that way, because these were not characters that were released separately. But there are a few characters, these 3, Lieutenant Falcon, who were made specifically for the movie. And then, of course, became part of, like, the larger G.I. Joe line.
And is this the set where one of them has like a big rubber bodysuit that he has to get in?
Well, not exactly, but you're thinking actually of the Globulus character. So he's the main villain in G.I. Joe the movie, voiced by Burgess Meredith. Mm-hmm. And he's got a big snake tail body here. So
the figure comes with it?
Yes. Oh, yeah. It's his torso, a human torso, bald, creepy, like crustacean armor, and then a big long snake. Looks more like a worm, kind of in the toy. In the movie, most of the time he's in like this big floating biopod. It's like a very creepy green thing. I would have loved for that to have been with the toy. The other thing about the snake is like, it didn't quite twist, so he could not really stand on his own.
Well, as a
So
toy on card, he looks like Mr. Hanky the Christmas Poo also.
I can see that. Yes, yes. So, and then this came with Nemesis Enforcer, he doesn't speak, but he's got bat wings, and for some reason, also green tentacles in the toy. That is never in the movie, but he's in like a pink suit and he's got like blades on his arms, and then a Cobra Law guard, who's just your miscellaneous guard character as well. Again, they could have put Pythona in, the female Cobra Law villain, but chose to put a random miscellaneous guard in instead.
I think Pythona, the first Pythona figure ever, came out like just last year. I think
Yes, yeah, just very
Yeah.
recently. And I would love for them to one day do, and I don't think this is out there, so someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I would love for them to do a Globulus where he's actually in the green floating bio orb, but then like you could take that off and he's like actually got the snake body. But until then, I have to think this, because it is a very cool design, even if it's not very practical. And I do love that they went there with this very almost David Cronenberg-esque character.
Well, I'm
you
addressing your gender gap that you're facing.
Oh yes,
with
you are.
my pick, which I did not own and do not own and will own one day.
One day.
Which is from Dick Tracy's Playmates 1990 line, The Blank.
The
Blank.
Dick Tracy. Hello, Guido. You'll own me one day.
Let's do the rest of the show in that.
No, I can't. Just doing that was like enough. Yeah.
Poor Madonna. So The Blank is one of the rarest mass-produced action figures ever of any line.
Yes.
Not just this line, any line. And it has so much mythology grown up around it, built up around it, but it seems clear, though it's hard to confirm these kinds of things. It seems clear that what happened was that they produced the Blank. She's wearing the mask of the Blank on card, but you can take the mask off and reveal that it's Madonna. And there was a concern that this toy spoils the end of the movie. And so it was pulled ultimately and only released in Canada. So it's unclear, again, if that's completely true or not true. There are cards out there that don't have French language on them. So I don't know. It wasn't available is the point, though. And it is incredibly expensive, loose and on card, incredibly expensive toy.
And complete, because like you could also often get missing the gun or something like that, hunt down that separately, and then there's a lot of fakes out there too. So if you want to get one that's real, you have to definitely do your homework.
Yes. And so not only is this an important character to complete the Dick Tracy line, not only is it such a cool character, but it's Madonna, who is my absolute favorite icon in the world. There were Madonna action figures released for Desperately Seeking Susan, but they didn't make this list because they weren't released until the 2000s. Otherwise, they'd be on this list. This is probably the only other action figure. Now, there are tie-in like dolls and there are PVC toys. There are other Breathless things from Dick Tracy, but this is the action figure and I need it. And I need to own it one day.
I think the Blank design, I mean, is also cool onto itself. Like the Blank
it is. I mean, it's just copying the question, but yes, it is.
Yes. Yeah, a really cool look. And what was so interesting about the story that you told, and again, like there's mystery around it, is growing up collecting these, you had no idea this because you would just go to the store and it's like, wow, that must be a hard figure to find because the Blank was always on the back of the car.
On the back, yeah.
So you just go and look for the Blank because I always loved like just that design, but you could just never find it. But you wouldn't have known that because there was no internet. Like you're not reading about this until many years later.
Yeah. So no action, but removing the mask.
Yes,
so,
that's true. That's action enough.
I think we have to go with value and the Blank.
Yes.
Is number one.
Totally. Yes. I mean, definitely. I mean, this is something both of us, obviously we really want to own one day, but yeah, it is a thousands of dollars purchase if we find it out in the wild somewhere.
Yeah. All right. We have our top 10. Give us a recap.
Okay, at number 10, Bob the Goon from Batman 89. Number 9, Bruce Wayne from Batman 89. Number 8, Zed from Police Academy. Number 7, the Alien Queen from Aliens. Number 6, Spinhead Beetlejuice from Beetlejuice. Number 5, Lips Manlis from Dick Tracy. Number 4, Bavmorda from Willow. Number 3, Captain Hook, or more precisely, Tall Terror Captain Hook from the Hook line. And number 2, the Cobra La 3-pack featuring Globulus from G.I. Joe, the movie. And number 1, The Blank, a.k.a. Breathless Mahoney, a.k.a. Madonna from Dick Tracy.
Yes. What a lineup. These are shiny plastic button-activated glory from start to finish.
Yes, they are. Well, I don't know if any of these had buttons, but yes, still. Well, I really had fun going through this. There were so many other ones that I'm going to put on my future list, and especially now I want to do in the near future TV shows, because that opens up a whole another bunch of these tie-ins. But until then, this is a wrap on the Sleepover Retro Countdown Show, proudly part of the Someone's Favorite Productions Network. So go check out some of the other shows for movie lovers of all kinds and pop culture addicts. Our show is brought to you by Sleepover Trading Company. So follow us online at Sleepover Trading and at sleepovertrading.com.
You can come visit our video store in Catskill, New York, in the historic Community Theater. You can find our archive online. Make sure you check that out, where we're digitizing ephemeral videos of the past and helping you relive the days when you'd wake up on Saturday morning and pull out all your figures to play with.
Be kind. Rewind your childhood.
Thank you for listening. To hear more shows from the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, please select the link in the description.
Hey everybody, this is Ryan from the New World Pictures podcast, where we're on a mission to watch every movie ever made by New World Pictures. With me as always is Mark.
Every movie?
Every movie!
Every movie? From the Roger Corman cult classics like Battle Beyond the Stars, help! And the super weird stuff you never even heard of, like Eat and Run.
Makes your tongue want to say, hey, it's nice in here.
Yes, Mark, every movie. And Erica.
Every movie?
Yes, Erica, every movie.
Every movie. So we're still talking about Night Zoo.
I've seen it.
And all the bonus stuff too. We're talking things we loved, things we hated, favorite scenes, inside jokes. And I know we're not at final questions, but are we still talking about Ryan's research?
I know I am. So check out our website, newworldpicturespodcast.com, or subscribe to the New World Pictures Podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. Follow us on the socials, and we'll see you next time at the New World Pictures Podcast, proud to be a part of Someone's Favorite Productions Podcast Network.